What teachers need to know about video editing. By now you've worked with a student who's gotten frustrated with learning something new and wanted to give up. And just like you teach your students to be patient with learning, I want to remind you to be patient with yourself as you learn the skill of video editing. And it is a skill that you can get better at if you choose to practice it. But maybe you don't want to. Maybe you just need to get through this requirement, and that's okay too. Let's start by talking about some terminology. Anytime you import footage, upload, ingest, convert, trim, and even export, it's all a part of video editing. Import, although it sounds like you're moving files, is actually just creating a connection for you where the files are on your computer to where you need them in your project. But before you do that, you need to either upload or ingest. Uploading creates a copy from your digital device, like a camera or SD card, onto the computer. Ingest creates a digital copy from an analog movie onto your computer. These are the tape-based cameras, and more than likely you're not using that. A lot of people use digital now, so you won't have to worry about this. But on the off chance that you did use a tape-based camera and you're going to need to ingest through the video editing software, it will both bring the footage into your computer and connect it to your project. Convert changes the type of file used. Trim eliminates unnecessary footage. Export creates a new video file from the project. Go ahead and pause the video if you'd like to write these terms down. A word on file formats. There are a myriad of different video file formats, and part of that is because the camera manufacturers, in an effort to monopolize the market, they create formats that only work with their editing software. In a response, other editing softwares offer updates that include other video file languages. So for the most part, you should be able to use your standard consumer camera with any standard consumer editing software like iMovie or Windows Movie Maker. Some more common files are MP4s and MOVs, which are a QuickTime file. Take a minute to see if your camera tells you what file format it used. If you're not sure, or if it doesn't say, that's okay. We can move on. Here's the workflow steps you will follow. You shoot your video, check. Upload video to your computer. Create project and import. Trim. Export. Start by creating a folder on the desktop where you can save clips, footage, and project files. Most formats you'll be able to see a preview of the video and you'll know which one you want to select. AVC does not allow a preview and you will have to upload all the footage. If you still have trouble recognizing, or if the file format is not recognizable, you may need to try another editing software. Something more professional with a wider range of recognized file formats. When you are creating a project, open your chosen editing software and make sure to name it. Save it to the file folder on the desktop and designate what format your footage is if asked. If you don't know, or if it doesn't ask, don't worry about it. Some softwares intuitively set this up when you get started, and some ask and give you the option of changing it later, if you need to. Find the import button. This is different for every program. Then navigate to the folder where you saved your files. Click on the video you want to use. Trim. You can choose a portion of the video to put into your sequence or timeline. You can also put all of the video into the timeline and then trim it down to just the portion you want. Some softwares utilize a hotkey I for in for the in point and O for out point, but you don't have to use these. Go ahead and look at the software you're using to find out what buttons and menu options it has. Consumer editing software is going to record time in hours, minutes, and seconds, but professional video editing software records time in hours, minutes, seconds, and frames. If you do end up using a professional video editing software like Final Cut Pro, Adobe Premiere Pro, be aware that those last two digits are the frames and not the seconds. Export. The most common mistake when a new editor is done saving the project file, not exporting the new video. The project file can only be viewed on that editing interface you were using just now. You need to export to create a video file that can be posted on web or emailed or moved to your flash drive and so forth. Because it's a small clip, you should be good on file size, but just in case, be aware of the exporting dialog box gives you an estimated file size. Make sure you export the file to the folder on the desktop. Again, H.264, also known as MP4, and QuickTime, also known as MOV, are the two most common video file formats and will ensure your viewer will be able to access the video. Once it's done exporting, go ahead and open that file from the folder you saved on the desktop and make sure it works. I hope this video helps. Thanks for watching. Remember, you don't have to know all the answers, you just need to know where to find them.